You have returned, and you have brought the shard.
That's all you can say? I almost died out there!
If I did not believe you could handle the task, I would have sent another.
Yeah, well, you weren't out there in the swamp getting attacked by lizard folk.
No, I was here attending the wounded, Bevel. Now find Marion and do the same.
I don't see how you put up with him.
Now, for the shard. Let me see it. Many such ruins lie within the mare and beneath it. They are of ancient Ilfarn, an empire once forged from an alliance of dwarfs and elves. All that remains are ruins, and little else. And their empire lives on only in history books and stories. That shard is one of a pair. Both were found after the battle that destroyed West Harbor long ago. My half-brother Duncan and I asked a mage in Neverwinter to examine the shards for enchantments, but he found nothing except a faint magical aura, residue of the battle, and so I kept one shard, and the other I gave to Duncan. Not long after I returned to West Harbor, I sealed it away in the ruins. So to speak, it would be more appropriate to say that I have a half-brother. Duncan, like Bevel, has many faults that would make it wise not to rely on him or call him kin. I need you to go to the city of Neverwinter, find my half-brother Duncan, retrieve the second shard, and take it to a mage you both can trust. Duncan owns an inn in the docks district of the city, the Sunken Flagon. Not the most reputable place, but safe enough. No. I know you value him as a friend, but he will be of no help outside of West Harbor. He would only slow you down. Bevel is made for simpler things. Head to the small port town of Highcliff when you are free of the swamp. There, seek passage on a ship to Neverwinter. The beast that attacked us will leave West Harbor alone once they realize their quarry has fled. If all goes well, you should be in Neverwinter before they find your trail. Say your farewells. Your boots may travel many roads before you return. I let some of the others know you are leaving, but not the why of it. Return when you are ready to leave, and we will speak of the path you must take.
So, your father sent you off to Neverwinter. As if everything that's happened tonight isn't enough adventuring for one lifetime. I'm hoping that you'll be back soon enough after you reach the city, but most people who leave West Harbor don't come back. I've got some bandages here, though I hope you won't need to use them. You can also have my share of the loot that we found. You'll need it more than I do. Wish I could go with you, but the defense of the village is important too. I'll do my best to keep the place standing for you when you return. I want to hear about all of your adventures. Not really. There's an inn north of here along the road. It's the only one between here and the edge of the mare, from what I understand. Plenty of lizard folk in the swamp, of course. Just stick to the roads and you'll be fine, though. At least, that's what I've heard. Good luck. And if you run across the one who killed Amy, stick a blade through his heart for me. She deserves at least that.
I simply can't carry all of this.
This incursion is the most noteworthy event that's happened here in years. I had high hopes for Amy. She was a rare find in West Harbor. A shame she failed to heed her first lesson. Always listen to Tarmas. Not that I expect you would understand, but she was the only one capable of holding a coherent conversation with me. Go if you must, but mysteries remain here that need to be answered. An inconvenience? Bah! I wouldn't expect one of your small intellect to understand. Suffice to say that her loss pains me beyond mere inconvenience. Suffice it to say that I find the bustle of city life even less endearing than the mosquitoes here. And here I can work quietly, in exchange for teaching some mud farmer's child a bit of lore every now and again. There most certainly is. Do you think it's by choice? Having filthy beggar children tidying my place up with inept hands and clouded minds? I could hire a servant for that. But the village has expectations of a resident wizard, responsibilities that cannot be shirked. So I teach them their letters, so they can write dirty messages in the mud or some such rot, only to watch them throw it all away in a meaningless gesture of loyalty. Stupid girl! That man says decidedly too much. It's true that part of the reason I came to West Harbor is because of the war that was fought here. You've probably heard it mentioned from time to time. And no doubt you've also heard the same vague accounts I have, assuming you could pry even that from the other villagers. And what would they say? I'm guessing that the harbormen are as much in the dark in this as the Neverwinter archivists are. The battle that was fought here didn't involve heralds and flowery declarations. It involved the wholesale slaughter of two forces, with your village in the middle. The entire village was nearly destroyed, and almost no one who stayed in West Harbor survived the night. The whole affair is quite mysterious, I'm afraid. Demons were involved, that much is certain. But, curiously enough, there are no clear answers to who fought whom and why. I think part of it is the remoteness of the location, yes? There were few battles in the war, and all of them were fought in the Mare of Dead Men. An evil wizard was behind the whole thing. There were very few Neverwinter troops that actually saw any action, and none of them survived. You really are a harborman. People here possess the sort of subtlety commonly found in raging barbarian hordes. Ask something else. I have nothing more to say on this matter.
So, Dagon is sending you to Neverwinter, eh? I can't say I approve. If it were a militia matter, I wouldn't send you alone. But I don't have any right to tell him how to raise his child. Can you at least tell me why you're going? Your father wouldn't tell me a thing. You know what they were looking for? They tore apart half the houses in town. What is it? You're less cryptic than your father. But not by much. It won't be easy reaching Neverwinter. I've traveled that way once or twice. It's a dangerous journey, especially for one traveling alone. You might want to ask around the village. If you're going to leave, some folks might be able to offer some help. So, you want to hear a story? Look out for the swamp elf. You see, an elf never stops growing, and usually they head to Evermeet before they get much bigger than human-sized. But one of the eldest lives in our own swamp. Huge he is, tall as a tree. It's the truth, I say. This giant elf has been known to hurl rocks great distances, and it has the evil eye. If it ever locks eyes on you... No, but close. It turns you into a stone. Not stone, but a stone. Just look around the swamp, and you'll see hundreds of its victims. And just by looking at them, you can't tell if it's just an ordinary rock, or whether it used to be a man. If you listen quietly, late at night, you can even hear them. Just don't look him in the eyes. The road is as wild as a road can get and still be called a road. And that was before the patrols stopped coming. There's only the one road in the mare, and that leads to us. There's a small inn on the way. Makes most of his trade off adventurers and the like. Galen, you remember him? The merchant? Well, he says the road is even worse than before. Lizardlings and other creatures have been sighted, and in large numbers. He's about the only merchant that comes our way. Does it once or twice a year. And thank Joaquin he does. We don't have a blacksmith, so he sells us what we can't make ourselves. With the way he loves to stop and chat, I wouldn't be surprised if you caught up with him. Your guess is as good as mine. All I can say is I wish they'd start up again. Might have prevented the attack on us, or at least given us some warning. Of course. Like what? You may not have trained under me, but I've always enjoyed your company. And you acquitted yourself well with the village defense. Here, take this shield. It's always served me well. And even if you don't use it, you can sell it for some gold that might do you some good.
Have you said your farewells? Take anything you need from our home. Speak with the wizard Tarmas as well. He may have a few odds and ends that he'd be willing to part with. To get to Neverwinter, take the road that borders the Starling Farm out of town. It is the only road through the Mare of Deadmen, so following it will be easy. The road itself has not been patrolled for some time, and few travel it. Move quickly, and you may be able to avoid the many beasts of the mare. I suspect you will see your share of battle before you reach Neverwinter. Stray from the road, and the danger is even greater. I've made it known that you travel directly for the city, in the hopes that the enemy will pursue you along the high road. Instead, you will head to the small port town of Highcliff once you are clear of the swamp. From there, you will seek passage on a ship to Neverwinter. There is a ship named the Double Eagle that will await you in Highcliff. Her captain, Flynn by name, is a trusted friend of mine and will ferry you safely to the city. Your trip to Neverwinter will be quicker by water, and my attempt at misdirection may allow you to reach Highcliff before the enemy becomes aware of your true route. I have nothing more to say. It's time for you to go, my daughter. Each moment you remain here brings greater risk to the village.
Now that we're outside, maybe you'd like to tell me what you said again, slowly this time, so you could think about what you're saying.
You're a small one to be taking this road all by yourself, dwarf. Maybe you've come looking for trouble, unless you have a little coin to convince us otherwise. Nothing that concerns you. This is between us and the dwarf, and whatever coin he happens to have with him.
Ah, you're welcome to try to take it if you're all game. You all can't be frightened of one little dwarf, can you? If you're afraid of being humiliated in front of the stranger here, well, now that's another matter.
We're not frightened of either of you, and it seems to me you need to learn a lesson. This matter is between us and the dwarf here. It's none of your concern.
Come on. Someone tried to hit me already. Even the newcomer here sees that you're all too afraid to do anything.
All right, I've heard enough of this. Come on, boys. Let's deal with the dwarf and his new friend.
Take that! Here! Me! Here! Take that!
Bonaparte.
Well now, that was a good fight. A shame they had to resort to weapons, but if they have to keep the odds even, can't blame them too much. Name's Kelgar, by the way, of the clan Iron Fist. I've been making my way along the coast for some time now, stopped in the Willow here for a brief fight. Yeah, it's a shame. I was just looking to trade a few punches, then share a drink when it was all done. Either way, they get my coin, the way I saw it. Doesn't matter. They weren't worthy of a drink anyway, bringing blades into it. A friendly brawl I would have been up for, but robbery with weapons. So, tell me, what brings you out along the mare? Roads aren't exactly safe, you know, and they're getting worse all the time. Seems it's your lucky day, then. I happen to be traveling to Neverwinter as well. Now that's a tale. Oh, glad you asked. But can't discuss it without a tankard or two, I think. I say we step inside the Weeping Willow here and share our stories over a few of the innkeeper's best. So then I punched him in the face for asking. And while he was trying to pick his teeth off the floor, his friend decided to add a few choice words about my heritage. So I punched him too. So to make a long story short, I take pride in what I do, fighting. It's something you can't get enough of, and it's something where there's always room for improvement if you apply yourself, stay focused, and keep swinging. And that's why I'm headed to Neverwinter. I heard there's a house of monks there. A monastery, right? I heard they'll train anyone, just for the asking. Couldn't ask for a better opportunity. Aye, that's the short of it. Well, as it happens, I didn't always want to become a monk. What happened was that...
The Kalakja! Find it!
Well, look at this. Our next round of practice just arrived.
Bonaparte. Bonaparte.